How much weight should you be lifting when your body is super stressed? That is something that I, as a coach, have been laser focused on. And in a normal cycle across the year, you would see good programming that reflects kind of the seasonality of the stress that comes amongst my athletes and yourselves. And why is that? Well, that goes to the concept of the amount of capacity the human body has at that moment. And when we think about the stress of life, we add in maybe work stress, maybe there's some odd events, maybe we have joyous things like we're getting married, or there's a big milestone in our life coming up, or there's a big holiday. All of those put tension and stress on our central nervous system, and our body takes that on, much as if you had literally vacationed for a week, you had no worries, you had 10 hours of sleep and were eating well and really mobile. Your stress, the net stress, would be lower. And so when we add in training is going to fill in or add on to the stress in the day. Now, if you are the first individual who might have all these different stacked stresses, we only have so much room left before we exceed our capacity, versus the individual who might have been on vacation, eating well, sleeping well. They might have much lower stress, so they can have a much larger capacity of work before they exceed their limits for the day. Now, the limits that we each have on our bodies, meaning the amount of stress that we can apply, whether it's work, neurological, physical training, and all those other things, that's the whole point of training. We work out and we focus on our health so we can raise that bar in our lives. That means that if you train, do the workouts in the mindset of getting the right sleep and the right food, you're going to be more resistant to disease and infections. When you get hurt, you're going to heal faster. But it also means from a capacity to do and produce work, whether your work is intellectual or your work is maybe on the competition floor, our training raises that bar and gives us the opportunity to do more than the last year, 5 years, 10 years ago in our lives. And when we think about that, that's fantastic. But when we have a broader situation happen where everybody now has an additional level of a layer of stress that's hitting their bodies, we need to recognize that our normal routine is not normal. And specifically 2020, February, March, April, we have a lot of stress hitting people. There's a lot of tension that is manifesting and impacting your total capacity for work. So when we're doing fitness and we're training our bodies, we want to maintain health, we want to get progressively better, we want to enjoy and get those endorphins. We are going to flat out avoid super heavy lifts. Now, that just means we're just not going to maximum. That means for programming wise, if we're going to do deadlifts, I might push more for sumo deadlifts just to take us out of that position. If you're an expert at deadlifts, sure, but maybe we don't go over 90% for a while. We need to just really be mindful that our lift today or our training for the day might just be a 5x5 deadlift if you're prepared for it. And it's not to a high percentage. A 5 rep count, we can't go super heavy on a deadlift. Or maybe you'll do a nice little workout, but we won't go to, the maximum intensity. These balances that we bring into our training allow us to respect what our bodies are absorbing and, more importantly, give us positive results of our training practice. Now, how can you lower the stress that's in your system? So maybe we can create more space, maybe for more training or just for more quality life. Maybe we're engaging with family, we feel like we might be in a little tough, a little hard to deal with, a little snippy. Feel like I might describe myself there for once or twice in the last week. What we can do to reduce some of the other areas. One is get good sleep. By increasing the sleep, we're actually able to recover better. That's a huge practice. There's a lot of great tips on what we can do to make that better. But that's first off. Let's get our sleep in order. Number two, we have to have rest days. You're like, I don't understand, Jimmy. You just said, I want to train more, and now you're asking for a day off. Yes, our bodies need a relief from the full intensity of the stress, and we have to allow ourselves to come down in order for us to push back up and raise that bar. So, sleep, greater rest day. Now, if we have other aspects in our life where maybe we think about it, and for me and my athletes, we write down 5 things that we can control and 5 things that we can't control. And then I ask them to prioritize in those that are, number one, what is causing the most stress or fatigue in our life? Like, what activity here just makes you want to scream, pass out, you hate it? And then number 2, add another column. Which of these can somebody else do? And it's important to have them both. Now, clearly, you see the net result is that when you look across that line, you find the ones that you can push to somebody else, whether you're outsourcing it, whatever it is, that matches to the higher stress. And we try to chip off the higher ones so we can. For me, my top one on that list was shopping. I just don't like it. I don't like going to the stores. 9 times out of 10, I am finishing work and meetings and done with conversations around 8:30. So I always felt like I was racing to the store. There was very little good food left. It was freshly cooked. They had kind of like pilfered everything, and it just wasn't a good experience. And some days I just completely missed getting there on time. And I made my list. And I wrote it down. I said, what can I do different? And now we have these, public shoppers. We have, Amazon Prime with Whole Foods, right? They deliver food to you in person. And I've taken advantage of that. I go to the store occasionally, usually for a couple choice things, maybe a couple of fresh fruits and vegetables that I'm interested in, or just want to say hi to the team there and maybe grab something small and nice. But for the majority, I have been able to reduce that stress in my life by having them do that. Now, how much did that cost me? Because people are always like, it's, easy for you to say. For me to have Amazon Prime deliver groceries to my house, it's roughly $5. That's how much it costs for me to remove something that was costing me 20 to 30 minutes a day and a lot of stress. And now I get good food. I can pre-plan all my meals all week. I can pick out everything that I want. I can submit it. If they don't have something, they let me know and I can change it. And it's for $5. I'm already paying for Amazon Prime. And that has helped me tremendously. Now, that's with Whole Foods. There's so many others that do this. Take advantage of it. Don't be scared, but also be flexible. Like, when you get something and it's not quite right or it's not what you would have picked, it'll be fine. You'll survive. My example for those that struggle with this idea is when you sign up for like a co-op with a farm, right? And they give you, or a CSA they call it, they bring you a box of vegetables that they freshly grew. You have no idea what you're getting. You don't know how it grew, what size is that carrot gonna be, this or that. You don't know. But we always seem to be okay with it. So I kind of take that mentality here. So this started off about how much weight should you lift in a high stress time. The answer is, I want you 90% or below. I would love for some lifts that are even more challenging for you to be staying in the 75 to 85% range. And let's say you're working from home and you only have one dumbbell. If you're a guy, maybe it's a 50, it's a 40, 60, it doesn't matter. I want you then to think, just do simple paper math. If you don't have a coach to do this for you, if you normally do a 5x5, and for you, maybe you back squat 100 pounds, that's 500 pounds of load that you moved in your training session, okay? If you have a 50-pound dumbbell, how many reps do you need to do to get to the same volume of work? So we gotta hack this. We gotta make sure we're keeping within our limits of our bodies so we can push and raise that bar up smartly. And in this time of stress, the number one thing I can push on you from a coach to an athlete is realize training is a blessing, and what you do today must respect what we are experiencing in our lives. It has to. So if you are trying to do squat snatches at a moderate to heavy weight and do all this training and you haven't really done a lot of squat snatches, don't get pissed off that you can't catch the weight at the bottom. Like, timing is off, balance is off, our minds are in different places, our central nervous system is all strained. Be kind to yourself, adjust your programming, and now is the best time to get that technique down, work on lighter weights, better reps, get that precision in, get the mobility and the flexibility dialed in, and get gains, right? There is not one reason we all cannot walk away from the stressful time with better rebounding, better speed, better coordination. It's in our grasp. We can control this. So stay safe, be healthy, train, take those rest days, and I'll see you later.